one is for machine. You know, Ethiopia is the birthplace of coffee. Our union is the birthplace of coffee.
How's the coffee bold?
Yeah.
Bold.
It is the birthplace of coffee. Yeah?
How much is this?
This one is $12.
Half a kilo is $12?
Yeah.
A kilo is $12?
My name is Agapitas Kubasu, the head of region for East and Central Africa, and happy to be supporting produce organizations, farmers and workers in East and Central Africa. So climate change is real, and why we gathered farmers here is to emphasize that with climate change being real and affecting their life, there's need to build systems that will help them overcome the shocks that they're experiencing. They need to diversify, they need to support the next generation, and farmers, they need to protect their livelihood. Because for sure, most farmers in Africa depend on single source of income. So through diversification, through adopting to different systems that help them build resilience, improve production, improve productivity, we'll definitely see climate change being overcome. But with support from different partners, we shall, of course, achieve a sustainable livelihood. Reducing dependency on monocropping, and you find that an instance we may give maybe in Uganda, most farmers will want to depend on coffee as their main cash crop. But we're encouraging them that apart from coffee, they can do a number of things. One is to consider other enterprises. Poultry farming is one of them. Secondly is to look at what technologies they can use, maybe fabrication and sale of cookstoves that is also earning them income, but in the long run help them adopt clean energy solutions in their cooking. The third one is apart from just selling their coffee to international markets, why can't they diversify and add value to that coffee so that they can sell to local markets and also to international markets and fetch a higher price than when it's sold as raw material.
So today I was trying to talk to the farmers under the Fair Trade Africa, whereby they want to know about the market that is existing or the market that is being implemented under the agreement, to see how they can take advantage of the market. We have few of farmers who are aware of what is going on. So today I was briefly talking about of the common market that is being formed, that is the African Free Continental Trade Area that was launched in 2021, and showing the advantage of the market to the farmers. So under the market, we have what we call intra-African trade, where African countries can trade with each other with different commodities. We find ourselves today that most of the African countries export or import to the other part of the world, like the EU, yet there is market for the products they import within the nation, within the continent itself. So with the African Free Continental Trade Agreement, there is what we can call of establishment of a market for the farmers with the help of value chains, regional value chains, whereby if one farmer from one country is producing a particular product, but they need to add value to that product to be exported to another country, they can produce or they can do the farming of the raw materials, then the value addition can be done in another country within the same rack or different rack, but under the same continent, and then exported to a different country within the same continent. So we are trying to see how can these farmers benefit from the one market. One, there is need for value addition. Many of these farmers don't know what is required. They don't know about the common market, the certificates that are required, that's the documentation, the standards that are required. So as we are trying to show them of the common market, we also want to show them, yes, this is required for you to export on this market, whereby we show them of how can you export, then look at the packaging part of it. Because when you look at the EU products, they have the well-packaged products that attract the market in Africa, yet the same thing can be done in African market to attract the continental market within Africa. You cannot implement something that you're not aware of. You have to get to know of what is really the African Free Continental Trade Agreement. We have to know the rules of origin. we have to know the tariff schedules. So if farmers are not aware of these arrangements, they cannot take advantage of the market. Then as a farmer, we are trying under different bodies to put out what is required for them to start exporting under this agreement. But still, a lot is still needed for those that are producing at a smaller scale to take advantage of the bigger market. A fair trade is all about seeing the improvement of the farmers. One, the livelihood, the economic growth. And one of the common goals that is between the fair trade and the African Free Continental Trade Agreement is economic growth. We're all looking towards the economic growth. As they're looking at the farmers, the agreement is also looking at economic growth in general, where farmers are also inclusive. Under the agreement, we have 5 sectors. That is business inclusive, and most of these farmers belong to the business sector. So we want to see, as fair trade is promoting the livelihood, the sustainability of the farmers, it also promotes, AFTA is giving a global space or a continental space for these farmers to export their goods from one country to another. So Africa has 55 countries, but under the 55 countries, we have 54 that have signed up for this agreement. However, because of the negotiations that were going on, that is the first phase and the second phase, we could not wait for the negotiations to be finished for this implementation to take place. So in 2022, there was a guided trade initiative that was brought across. It was signed from Ghana, whereby they are trying to see what we are putting in place implementable, all with the countries that are signing up for this, implement what exactly we are putting across. So under the guided trade initiative, we have 8 countries so far that have exported their products from their countries to Ghana. We have Rwanda, Cameroon, we have Mauritius, we have Egypt, we have Kenya. So we have also Tanzania. So these are the countries that have tried to export, and since they have done it, it means that it's doable. So we are looking to seeing other countries that follow the rules and regulations, all the guidelines of the FTA, the Continental Free Agreement, to see that even other countries can export their products from one country to another. One of the objectives is to create a market, a free market across Africa. It's like creating one Africa. That is a common market between the African countries. Then also to eliminate the taxes, to eliminate the tariffs to 90%. Because when you see one of the hindrances of why these African countries are not performing to their best, it's because the taxes are high. So if the agreement is eliminating to 90%, it means that it is giving a room to even the farmers that are still on a small scale to carry out trade to other countries.
My name is Mweje Jeru. I'm from Kenya. I am the chairman of the Kenya Tea Network. I'm also the chairman of Mungania Tea Factory, Kenya. I'm also a delegate, fair trade delegate of East and Central Africa Network. We are here today in Kampala for our annual General Assembly, Fair Trade Assembly. But today I'm going to talk about quite a number of issues. One is about the tea reforms in Kenya. You realize that back in 2016-2017, the tea earnings were quite, I would say they were quite good in Kenyan standards. But in the year 2019-2020, there was a very sharp decline in the earnings. So what happened is that we started, as a government, what we call tea reforms. And these tea reforms were focusing on quite a number of areas, but all of them were geared towards mitigating the farmer against now the dropping tea earnings. One thing, the tea reforms were farmer-centric, meaning they were all geared towards bringing up the earning of the farmers. So the first thing was about the markets, okay? The market where the government came up with a minimum price for our tea at the auction, such that if you are a buyer, you could not buy our teas below that price, the one set by the government. So after introducing that already, we have seen a lot of earnings, okay, in terms of what is going back to the farmer. Then there was also the issue of trade. How are you going to trade? One issue was about the markets. The government came up with, through the reforms, came up with a method in terms of how you can buy Kenyan teas. All teas are currently being bought through the auction, and this, like I've seen, there's a minimum price that you cannot buy below. Then there's also the issue of governance, okay, where now the functions of tea trade, they were devolved to the factory level, such that now you're making the bond of the factories more powerful in terms of operations and in terms of procurement, in terms of marketing and all that. The only area which we need to reconsider is the area of indirect sales, because the reforms came up with the shutting down of these market outlets, but the government of the day is on top of things in terms of opening that market, because many of our buyers, they used to buy direct teas from us. So that market is very soon going to be opened. Then there's the issue of value addition. There is a policy from the government that 50% of our teas in the next 8 years must be exported as value-added teas. And that one is going to happen because every factory, at least 1 or 2 factories in every catchment area, we must have an orthodox production line. Because we realize the orthodox teas are the ones which are fetching a lot of money, and we all want to go that direction. Because with orthodox teas, the market, actually we cannot satisfy the market of the orthodox teas right now. So the area of value foundation is one area where the government is putting a lot of emphasis, and in the next maybe 5 years, maybe 50% of our teas will be specialty teas. Most of our fair trade buyers, they used to buy direct sales, without going through the auction. So I would say, like, through this platform, we are going to come up with one of the resolutions, maybe that we need to open up now the direct sales, so that most of our fair trade buyers can now come back and be able to buy our teas. Yeah. So through such kind of platform, through the ICANN, yeah, it means our market now, yeah, because most of our, actually all our fair trade buyers, they're buying more fresher teas, meaning through opening of the direct sales, more of our fair trade buyers will be able to access our teas. Then through fair trade also, we are coming up with mitigation measures for the climate change. Through fair trade, we have been able to come up with projects which are geared towards conservation of environment. Like we having projects like having nurseries for our trees, having harvesting our rain, water from the rain, and also through fair trade. These are the fair trade standards. Yeah, the guidelines are very clear how we are supposed to produce our teas. For instance, we are not supposed to have our teas produced through child labor. Okay, yeah, through child labor. Then again, we are not supposed, if we want to do winding, yeah, for instance, we cannot wind our teas by spraying the chemicals. Okay, those are some of the standards which we must make sure that as we produce our teas, we follow those guidelines.